Hey crafters, a super warm welcome today. I am here with another video using our Christmas 2025 collection, and today I'm going to use the poinsettia cover plate, which is a phenomenal die. It is a huge piece of metal and there's a lot that goes with it. So let's dive straight in and I will show you how you can make a really cool, well, Christmas card. I mean, you can make this into birthday cards if you change it from the reds and the pinks, maybe a yellow and a cream, maybe, who knows, whatever other colours that you choose. You could really alter these flowers into maybe like a clematis, or another flower or a fantasy flower of your choice. However, let's have a look at what we've got in the pack. Now on the back, you'll see here, first of all, you have this beautiful, beautiful cover plate, and then you have all of these dies. There is a ton of metal in here, and I've used mine a lot, so it's got tape all over it at the moment because I'm going to be using it again in a moment. Now this is the background plate, no outside cutting edge, but then you do get your outside cutting edge, so you can cut this out, you can leave this in your card, you can just use that as a card base should you want to, and then you get all the other pieces. Now what I will say to you is good time to take a screenshot. So here, A, B, and C. So that is how you build up your flowers. A, B, C, literally. This is how I remember it. And this is just me just saying to you, this is how I play with mine. You know, this is how I put all my dies together. So I know when I get these 6 dies out, which are leaves and petals, which is meant to be working with what. Just makes life a lot easier. So let me move that there. So you've got A, B, and C, A, B, C. And then on the back here, I've written A, B, A, B. So those two are going to be C. Now what you'll see is if I swap that one over here, you have the larger and a little bit smaller, larger, a little bit smaller, larger, bit smaller. And I've done that because I want you to have like a background layer and like a layer that goes on top. So what we need to remember is when we turn this over, we'll be able to lay this one over here, and you can literally see the shape of that leaf around here. And then you'll do the same for B. So B has got this really large leaf here. So when I turn that way, you'll see you've got that really large leaf there. But obviously it's back to front because it's not been die cut yet. And again with C, you can see you've got these skinnier ones here and this big fat one at the bottom there. So you can see exactly where they go. So you can choose exactly how you use yours, but this is how I just found it really easy. So going forward, I'm not faffing and saying, oh, I can't remember what layer what went with what. This is a really good way of doing it. So let's dive straight in and create something beautiful. So the first thing I've done is I've used a piece of watercolor card and I've cut out this background. Okay, so literally just cut that out, and I'm going to pop that to one side for a minute. And then I've taken the actual cover plate and I've cut it into a piece of black cardstock, and you can see here I've literally, it's not a straight piece of card by any stretch, it's just literally been cut into the card. Now when you look at it, you can just make sure you've got it the right way up. So when I start laying my flowers, I know which way they're going, and I can see that leaf here is down here, etc. Now you could have done yours green, but my technique is a little bit different today. So I want you to see my cool background, and I want you to see how the flowers bounce off the page using some ink. We've also got these little elements here, so we get the 3-in-1, which give you your 3, I want to call them your centers really. Now we've cut that out, we don't need that anymore, so we'll pop that away, and we will do exactly the same with the plate as well. We don't need that one. Oh yes, we do actually, we do need to cut this out. So the first thing we are going to do is use that one, and we're going to cut this out. So I would do this off camera and I will move some things off my desk, but all you're going to do is place your outside die like so, and you're going to cut that out. Okay, so I will shift this out of the way and I'll bring my machine in and I will speed up the die cutting. So I'm using my Platinum 6, which is my collaboration with Spellbinders. It's an absolutely beautiful machine. I'm absolutely in love with it. It is a pretty colour, obviously, but then it's also got these beautiful florals on it, which I'll show you at the end. And then you get your cutting plates, which are in a coordinating green colour as well. You get your embossing plate and all sorts. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. It also comes with an exclusive a 3D embossing folder with die as well, which is one of our phenomenal folders, which you all know and love. So I'm literally going to place this down here, and then off camera I will run that through really quickly. So I've literally cut this out now and bring this in for you, and we'll take the tape off there, and you'll see how cool that is. Now I've gone a little bit close to the edge at the top. It doesn't really matter, to be fair, because I'm actually going to trim the bottom off anyway, and you will see as we progress why it doesn't matter too much. Now let's get rid of all the rubbish. We're going to put this away and bring this in. So let's take that piece of tape off of here, and let's bring package back and pop this somewhere safe. Now I can see I've got the A and the B and the C. So I've now got to decide on the colours, but actually for what I'm doing, we don't need to. So if you were going to cut these out, you could now start deciding which A needs to be cut on which colour. So I would say straight away when I looked at this, if I turned these over, I know they're the wrong way round, obviously, that's more of a heavy duty one. So that's the light pink. That's the thicker one out of the two. So that would be a dark pink. And that's got 4 pieces on, so that would be a light pink, and you can just do it like that, and you can, it's very, very easy to follow. So make sure you've written that down so you can see exactly what I'm using. Now look at that, straight away, what a great background, even if you don't do anything else. It really, really is. It's absolutely phenomenal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually trim off around some of these edges, and you don't have to, you absolutely don't have to, because it sits beautifully in that frame. And obviously I've moved it slightly, but I don't want them anyway. So if I move this up for a moment, move my plates just out of eyeshot, and I'll bring in my guillotine, which is again my collaboration with Spellbinders, and I'm just going to take that end off here, and you absolutely don't have to do this. And then around here, because it's all joined together, so it doesn't matter. See that? And then, oops, this one, I'll do that one in a moment. Let's just turn it that way to do it. There we go. And we'll do that one as well. So this gives you options now, you see, and I didn't really want harsh lines around the edge, and I'll show you. When you pop this now on here, you almost create yourself a little frame. Can you see that? And I think that sits better, in my opinion. But of course, because it cuts the outside edge out, you know, it's entirely up to you. You don't have to do anything. Now I'm going to pop these to one side because they're all going to be cut out in the same colour in a moment. And we're going to do some inking. So I think I might do the cutting first, actually, and then we'll bring the inking in, or the inks in, to do the inking. So let's shift this up here, bring the machine back in. We'll bring in some white card. This is a little bit bigger card, doesn't really matter, because I'm just going to cut what I need. So I'll fit on what I can, and obviously I know I'm not going to get it any further than there because the plates don't go any further. And then again, it doesn't matter which ones I do, but it would be sensible if you put your A's together, because when you take them out of the die, you know what you're working with, or you'll get yourself into a muddle. Put your B's together. I think that's this B. Yeah, so put your B's together. Let's just do A and B. And oh, that's why you just do A and B. And then you'll put that in the middle there, and then we'll run that through. I probably could fit them on, but to be honest, I don't want to get, I don't want something to move, and then what will happen is I won't remember which goes with which. So I know that's A, that's the first one. Move those and put them together with the die. Pop that one and the dies together. So we know that's that one. This is B. We'll pop the dies here. And we'll take these out. Oops. And then we have the 3 little pieces, but I'll just pop them off camera a minute. We don't need to see those. So we've got the B, and then we'll come in with the C. Okay, so we can just turn that around actually, and we'll pop the C down here. I have got messy plates, so it is leaving a few marks on the plates from previous cardstock, but that's okay. So bring that one in a little bit. Run this through. Oops, that's what I needed. And then, of course, we just come back. So there is a huge amount of metal in this pack. So we know that's you see. Take these off. Come on, you, just out there. And I mean, you can use that as a stencil, couldn't you? You could create some great, great backgrounds. Take these away, and that's your C. Now, we've done all of our cutting. I'm not going to put a sentiment on this one, but obviously you can put a sentiment on yours when you create yours. But I'm just going to give you the kind of the basic. And I bring back in my ulti-mate, and I've turned over my silicone mat because we don't need to see the check. It's have the nice back. And I'm going to start with A. And I'm going to bring in these two flowers, and I'm going to bring my ink in, and I'm going to bring in yellow and red. Now these are, I think I've said in the previous video, these are my OGs. This is my very first release of inks. This is Juicy Pineapple, which is ink number 1. If you look at the SKU on the back, LHC IP 001 and 007. Wow. And we have got the blue here as well, which we will come on to the blue afterwards. So we've got these pieces here to do, okay? And then we've got these 3 here, which was these. Now I'm going to take the yellow brush, and what I might even do is bring in a little of my interference ink. Now this is Crimson Cheer, which is on white card, it's going to be red, and on black card, it's going to be green. So we'll leave that there for a moment. And the first thing I'm going to do is start with yellow, and we're going to ink these up. And you'll probably think, what's she doing? But it all will become clear. And I really don't get any fussier than that. I'm not looking for a blend. I'm just looking for some ink coverage. Needs to have a little bit of yellow roughly all over it, okay? And then we take our red, and we take our red brush, and this is where we start to play. So now I'm looking at the picture, and I'm looking at A, this first one, and I can see this one is on the top. So this one is on the bottom. So naturally this one will be darker. So I'm going to now go over, and you can see it's changing up that colour. It's giving it like almost like an autumny glow. It more of an autumny glow than it is of a red. And we do the same here. Now this one, because it's on the top, I only want to go in the middle, and I want to push out that colour. So darker in the middle, coming out, okay? Like so, all the way around. And what happens is it makes these flowers look like they're on fire almost. But make sure you get an element of the red, excuse me, all over, all right? But keep the bottom one darker. Leave that like so. Change out your brush when you use your interference. Different brush. And then we're going to come with this one. And you'll see, look how more liquid and juicy that is, okay? And then we lightly brush on this one. We don't have so much. We literally lightly brush. If you think it's going to be too much, tap off first. But hopefully you can see the difference in the colours on the top and the bottom, all right? And then we're going to bring in the blue. So just, I know the skinnier one is interference. We're now going to bring in the blue brush. And we're using Deep Ocean. Now, Deep Ocean is just a stunning colour, but take some of the ink off. And then just around the edge, come away from that red a little bit. You're going to come around the edges. But you're not going to cover the whole thing, all right? Now, it looks quite blue there, but you come back with that interference brush and you mix it just on those edges. So now, completely change that up, completely. See that? but you've still got that shimmer. You see the shimmer? It's beautiful. And then the blue, the tiniest amount of blue on here, the tiniest amount. So you don't apply any more to your brush. You just literally add what's left. And you'll see now, it's going to give you that effect and glow. So leave those there together. And I'm going to do the same for all of the others. I'm going to wipe off. Let's give a little wipe off. And I've got a piece of card that I did in the previous demo, which is on my mop up. I'm going to just mop up a bit more. Look at that. Take some of that. So that will end up being another video, I'm sure. So apologies if my head ends up in the camera at all, because I keep leaning forward, but I need to do that to get right in close. Now lift that blue up, wipe this off. So we'll do one more. So we're going to come in with B. So I know that's A. So when I bring this in, I'm just going to pop that on A. Now we're bringing in B. And do the yellow again. And you can see why I don't really care about, you know, how much yellow goes on and where it goes. But I'm covering. Because you do need that glow from that yellow. Okay. Love this. Absolutely love this. So that's your yellow. I'm going to have a little bit more vibrant over here. So they all look different. And then we come in with the red. The bigger brush was the blending ink. And we know this one's going to be your base because it's got more solid on it. And then again, look, the lack of care that I'm giving to this is the little you can do, the better. Okay, here in the middle, we know we go into the center and then we come out. Okay, into the center and come out around here. I mean, you might end up going back on some of them and saying, oh, you know, there's not enough red on that one, or it's a little bit too orange. But you can absolutely do whatever you like. So like there's a little bit yellow there. Happy. That's gone. Let's use skinny brush, interference. And that red all over. So cool. Just absolutely super cool. And on here, we were light. We didn't apply any more. We had a little bit of red. Not too much, but it needs to match. So grab whatever ink you can. There might be some on the mat still. And you'll see, look at that. Okay, so we've got the two looking different, like we did last time. So now we bring in that blue. And I've still got some in the lid from before. And we go around that edge. And we know it's quite blue, which is fine, because we're going to come back. And then we're going to blend it all out. And then we take this one, much lighter. Oops, that spun around. Much lighter. And around here. There we go. So you can see those. And if you feel it's a little bit too heavy, I actually don't. I think this one's fine. But you can absolutely blend that into what you want it to be. And then I'm going to do the third one. I'm going to put that on flower 2. And I'm not even going to worry about wiping this up. I'm just going to literally come in with that yellow. And I'll do it down here. There we go. That's those two done. And they go on number 3. Don't need to see that because you know what I did before. And then finally, our little centers. And I'm going to use the yellow brush. However, the yellow, I don't think I need to add yellow because I can pick up some of this ink. And then I'm going to pick up that interference and I'm just going to add a little bit of that over the top to give a little bit of an orange glow. That one looks a little bit more insipid than the rest. So there we go. That's all of those done. I'll have a little tidy up and then I will be back with you with a nice clean desk. So here we go. So here are our flowers. They're just over here and the middles. So we leave those there like so. We don't need this for the moment. We need this. This is going to look spectacular. This is going to be blue. Deep Ocean blending brush. Now I do always have a piece of kitchen towel here. Now I'm sorry my nails are filthy, but it is the peril of the job, isn't it? And then we're going to come in and we're going to give this background a beautiful, beautiful blue finish. I'm using a watercolor card and I'm only doing that because it takes so much more ink. And it kind of, I want to say not goes on more smoothly, but it gives you the ability to build up so much more. Can you see that? Just look, I mean, take a moment to see not a single line. I'm going to turn that way. And I'm going to just come down here. And this stops you getting any fingerprints, any marks, anything really. What a stunning colour. And this is called Deep Ocean. And who wouldn't want to dive in an ocean like that? Look at that. It's phenomenal, isn't it? So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave this to dry a little bit. I mean, it is dry almost, but what a colour. I'm in love. I'm in love. What a beautiful colour. So I'll lift that up. Wow. Not a mark, not a nothing. It's just perfect. So literally ink and one die is all you need for this card. So if you've got our inks, it doesn't matter whether you use our metallic inks, whether you use our blending inks, our interference inks, it just does not matter. So we're going to start with flower 1. And I'm going to pop these together. Now I'm going to look at the packaging and I'm going to go, right, there's a big fat one here. And a big, yeah, so that sits right like that. And then that would sit on there. All I know is this one is going to be the one that's on the top. Okay. And then these ones, which is B, we know that's going to be the base one. And then we know this is going to be the one that sits on top. Aren't they just arty? They're so cool. And this one, the long skinny one, move those up. Move that up. I think it's this one. Is it this one? I think that's your base. Yeah, and then that one is your top one. There we are. So there's your flowers. Now let's bring this in. And this is how I tend to do it. So I look at this flower here, and this is kind of a guideline for you. I just, honestly, I don't really stress it too much. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to work out which way around it goes. And I think it goes something like that. Something like that. And then that one sits over the top, right? Just, I mean, honestly, this is not an exact science. Just put your ink down, put your flowers down however you like them. Who cares what shows through underneath? It doesn't matter. So that one will sit like so, just like that. And then this one, I would choose which way I want it to go, and I think it looks quite nice like that. So I will put, and I've not fluffed those leaves yet. Don't worry about that. We'll do that in a while. And then that one will sit like that. And then this one, again, this is entirely up to you. So if I get the package, I can see you've got those two that sit like that. And that will sit on there. You can see that just lines up if you want it to. But do you know what? I don't really take much notice of it. I just put it however I want it, really. And I'm going to put that one on there. Hold that down a minute. There's a bit of glue there. It doesn't matter. You're going to cover it up anyway. And then I look at the picture again and I go, oh, That big fat one is down there. Bit of a gap there. Yeah, that goes like that. So I'll pop a little bit of glue on the middle of that one because of the size of it. And we'll go like so. That glue's going to dry anyway, don't worry about it. And you can see that it's already beautiful, isn't it? And then this one is, I'm looking at the package and I'm going to go, well, I don't think it really matters too much with that one. Is that pointy bit? I think that goes like that. Yeah, I think that one goes like that. Yeah. So you can see what I mean by the A, B, and C, can't you now? Why it's handy to do it. There we are. And then this one, I can see it's got like the, almost like the acorny oak leaf kind of look there. And then that one will go like so. Phenomenal. And then here, we start to put those centers on. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put the lid back on that for a minute because I don't want the glue to clog. And I know this one will sit nicely there. I'm not really fussed about what goes where, if I'm honest with you, really. And that one goes there. So now all I do is I lift, lift, and lift. I think it looks quite nice. And then you can lift all of them. If you don't want to lift them at all, you don't have to. But it's just kind of nice, isn't it? So now, even that on its own, if you put that onto a piece of white card, that's my bit over there. If I just show you, put that onto a piece of white card, that's going to look gorgeous, isn't it? But, whew, oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that just ridiculously good? Now, you could have had green leaves. You could have done whatever you like. You could then, if you got your interference ink, you could absolutely do that if you wanted to, or with your colour changing inks. Now, I mean, you could have glued it down first. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to catch these pieces. Looking great, isn't it? And then I'm going to pop that lid back on very quickly, she says. And then we'll turn that back over. And we'll line this up. I'm going to tippy toes. So as I say, you don't have to put your flowers on first, but it wasn't too much of a hassle. And you know what? You could put sentiment in the middle here. I've got some sentiments from my collection, which was our So Very Merry sentiments, which have the quick pass ones. So basically you've got the die that cuts them all out once you stamp them. So it's exactly even for all of them. Let's move our ulti-mate out of the way. We don't need that now. Bring in our piece of art. So now all I would do is, oh, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Come on. Ulti-mate, come back. Turn this around. So this is what I mean about the ulti-mate. People say, why has it not got some lines on it? Why has it got no number? It's never was meant to have numbers. It's meant to be a guide. It was never meant to be a scoring tool. I can't do the scoring tool on the back. It's just not big enough. It just says it's not the right size or shape. So it's never meant to be a proper scoring tool. It's meant to be something that helps you. I'm going to go around there. So we can take that one off. Turn it over. Got that there all the way down the back. Fold that in. Turn that around, then we can cut that off, can't we? Literally pop that together. And here we go, all our bits here. And then all I will do is take this and I'm going to mount that on foam pads, I think. Look at that. And then we've got these sentiments. So Very Merry. Let's trim the edges off of this because it's a bit long. Here we go. So that will fit nicely on now. A few foam pads on the back. And then take the backing off. And we can place that down just like so. So very merry. And have I got any glitter? I couldn't find any glitter, but what I do have is my Fantasy Dazzle paste. So what I might do, I lift that lid off very gently. You'll see it's like this beautiful gel, and what you can do is take a little brush. I've got a little paintbrush here. It's an old paintbrush, but it doesn't matter. So you can come in here and we can paint just in the middle here. And when it dries, it'll be that beautiful, sparkly. Don't know if you can see it yet. You will do when it dries. And you can, if you want, you can add some to your leaves. Just a little glow, just like that. Just gives you a lovely, lovely little finish on it. Put that lid on there. Always keep your foil on when you're not using it. So there you have it. This is part of the 2025 Christmas launch from lisahortoncrafts, and this is your most beautiful poinsettia cover plate. So how different does that look from the packaging? Completely different, but utterly stunning. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is the second video we've done in our 2025 Christmas release. I will see you for the next video where we will look at maybe our traditional Christmas holly or even our traditional Christmas poinsettia. See you again.